the birth of two brothers. Adam and Eve, expelled from Eden for their disobedience, found comfort on earth, but they also felt the weight of sin on their shoulders. Eve, with pain and effort, gave birth to her first son, Cain. He looked at him with love and said to him, "I have acquired a man with the help of the Lord." Genesis 4:1. Shortly after, Abel, his younger brother, was born. The children grew up in a new and hostile world, where the sweat of the forehead was the only guarantee of sustenance. Cain became a farmer of the earth, while Abel dedicated himself to grazing. Although they were brothers, their paths and hearts were very different. Since childhood, Cain felt that his existence was a burden. His father, Adam, spoke to him of the glorious days of Eden, of the land that once offered them everything without effort. But now, that same land seemed to punish Cain with poor harvests and hard work. Meanwhile, Abel, with his sheep, always seemed at peace, free from the sweat and exhaustion that tormented his brother. Cain began to feel a shadow grow inside him. Although his family spoke of God's love, a dangerous question arose in his heart. Hadn't God been unjust in expelling his parents from paradise? Was it not he, the firstborn, who carried the greatest weight of that punishment? This doubt consumed him, slowly separating him from his faith. Chapter 2, the rejected offering. Over time, both learned that they should offer sacrifices to God as a sign of obedience and gratitude. Abel, with a humble heart, presented the first fruits of his flock, a healthy lamb, the best he possessed. His sacrifice was accepted, and the smoke of his offering rose with pleasure to the sky. Cain, on the other hand, presented the fruits of the earth, but his heart was full of pride and resentment. Every blow of his hoe, every seed planted, reminded him of his father's punishment. Why did he have to fight the earth to survive? Why didn't God make his work easier? He offered the fruits not out of love, but out of obligation, and God did not look at his sacrifice with pleasure. Upon seeing this, Cain's face darkened with anger. If you do good, you will be accepted. But if you don't, sin is at the door. It lurks you anxiously, but you must master it. Genesis 4:7. The Lord warned him. But the poison of resentment was already running through his veins. He felt that God favored Abel and despised his effort. Every day that passed, envy was transformed into hatred, a dark fire that consumed his soul. God's words were not a consolation, but an open wound. Hadn't he done what he had to do? Why did his brother receive the divine favor, and he only the silence? In his mind, the voice of sin whispered, "You are the firstborn, the heir of humanity, and yet God chooses your brother." Chapter 3, Betrayal in the Field. Resentment grew in the heart of Cain like a shadow that darkens the soul. He couldn't stand to see his brother walk with so much peace, with so much trust in God. At night, he heard the whisper of envy in his mind. Abel doesn't deserve the divine favor. Why him and not you? One afternoon, he approached Abel and with a forced smile said, "We go out to the field." Abel, innocent, followed his brother. He did not suspect that the first murder in history was being conceived in the heart of Cain. When they were away, Cain took a stone and with uncontrolled fury unloaded it on his brother's head. He knocked again and again until Abel was motionless, with his blood staining the earth. Silence reigned in the field. Only the echo of the crime was suspended in the air. Upon seeing his brother's body, Cain felt something strange, not satisfaction, but emptiness. The voice of sin that had promised him liberation was now silent. Abel lay dead, but Cain did not feel stronger nor more loved. He only felt an absence. And then he heard the voice of God. Chapter 4, the Judgment of God. The voice of the Lord resounded in the mind of Cain. "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain, trying to hide his crime, replied with disdain, "I don't know. Am I my brother's guardian?" Genesis 4:9. But God already knew the truth. "The blood of your brother cries out to me from the earth." Genesis 4:10. God cursed Cain. "When you plow the earth, it will not give you its strength again. Wandering and foreign, you will be on earth." Genesis 4:12. Cain, horrified, begged, "My punishment is too great to bear. Anyone who finds me will kill me." But God put a sign on him so that no one killed him, condemning him to a fate worse than death, immortality and exile. Chapter 5. The Wanderer of the Earth Expelled. Cain wandered through the land of Nod with the weight of guilt and the stigma of his curse. He sought refuge, but in every corner he found only shadows and rejection. The centuries passed. He saw kingdoms born and fall, civilizations arise and disappear. He tried to end his own life in 1,000 ways, but his body always healed. He threw himself from mountains, entered stormy seas, drank poisons that annihilated entire armies. But nothing freed him from his condemnation. Epilogue: the last destiny of Cain. At some point in history, men of faith captured him. They took him to a place where neither light nor time could reach him. A chamber sealed under the foundations of the Vatican. There, with iron crosses and sacred scriptures, they tried to contain the cursed. Not for mercy, but for power. Scientists have spent decades extracting his blood, looking for the key to eternal life. But Cain, with a bitter smile, knows the truth. There is no eternal life without condemnation. And the day they manage to decipher their curse, the divine punishment will fall on humanity. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. Let's explore more Bible stories together.